In the last M2 video, I began modifying the car. The theme was carbon fiber. We started off with the engine and began replacing as much BMW plastic as possible. The upgrades were super simple to install and really enhanced the overall look underneath the hood. We also ditched the OEM mirror covers for high quality carbon ones and installed a questionable trunk spoiler, which till this day I am not entirely sure if I like it, but I figured time would tell. Today we're going back to the engine bay to spicing things up some more. My goal? To make this one of the best S58 engine bays out there. Got some exciting mods for the M2 today. We got the keys, carbon fiber strut brace, which look absolutely epic, and most importantly, they replaced the boring OEM ones that you get from factory that just don't look very good. And what we have here is titanium hardware for the engine bay of the M2. These are from a company called Downstar. This looks pretty damn epic. Consider them like the icing on the cake. I think it's gonna match very well with the BMW M2 Zamford Blue. And most importantly, I'll replace all the boring, ugly looking hardware that's scattered all over the engine bay of the S58. So these strut tower braces work for the G80, G82 M3 and M4, and the G87 M2. And I gotta say, these are probably one of the better looking braces out there available for these cars. And just look at the presentation. You do have some options too. You actually have dark bolts available or some silver ones, depending if you want to go for stealth or very visible. You get 2 wrenches, which I believe these are just to kind of tighten up the strut braces once you figured out what your preload is. Yes, these allow you to set your preload, and these are the only ones available for this car or for the G88 M3 and M4 that allow you to adjust the preload, so that's very cool. As always, if these are mods you guys are interested in, I'll have links down in the video's description, which include the carbon pieces from the last video as well. So what I would say the most important thing about this upgrade is not only do they look very, very good, but they're actually very, very strong. Brian from Keys Motorsport actually demonstrated how strong these are by whacking it against a tree several times. I don't think I've seen a scratch on the strut brace at all. There was no indentation, no damage. So not only do these look much better than the OEM ones, but they're fully functional as well. So the hardware dress-up kit, I decided to go with a color called Blue Steel, which is offered by Downstar. First of all, they make things a lot easier for BMW owners that want to, you know, amplify the look of their engine bay, because they supply a kit which eliminates the guesswork of having to get the appropriate hardware that matches what you have in the engine bay. You just buy the kit, they include everything that you need, and you also get instructions which make things a lot easier. So you get a visual representation of where all the hardware goes, and they number everything so you know exactly how much of each is included. And again, you can match it with the diagram so you know exactly where everything goes, which is why I pretty much have everything laid out right here. They're pretty much laid out in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Nice, you can count.
Yes, I know it says 10 on here, but to be honest, number 8, grill V-brace, which is right there. I don't have anything in my engine bay that goes there, so I guess that's just gotta sit to the side. I kind of knew Blue Steel wasn't gonna be an exact match for Zamford Blue on the M2, but it's pretty damn close. If you look at the brighter parts of the titanium, actually matches pretty damn well. It's gonna be sitting in the engine bay anyways and not directly next to the body panel, so it's not gonna be that big of an issue. I think I made the right choice, and I think it's gonna look very good. Don't know how many of you guys have actually held titanium in your hand, but let's put it like this. Your eyes and your mind see chunks of metal which normally translate to them being heavy, and then you pick it up and they weigh almost nothing. It's an experience that kind of leaves you in shock, especially if it's your first time. All right, so first thing we'll do is take off the OEM strut braces off. Off camera, I went ahead and removed the little clips here. It's not really necessary, but I don't like to pull this back and just kind of mangle it. So I'll take these clips off, take the extra step to make sure we don't mess this up. So then the cloud cover, we'll set that off to the side. And now you have a little bit more room to get to those nuts right there.
And also off camera, he decided to walk on wet floors that I just painted and say it's not him. Good job.
That's totally, it wasn't me.
Yeah, right. Let's see bottom of your shoe. Let's see if there's paint. Yeah, what's that? What's that? There's paint there. It's gray paint.
So let's go ahead and get these 15 mil nuts out. I tend not to use power tools for these because kind of mess up the nuts. You like leave scars like those. So I tend to use hand tools so I don't really mess them up. beefy, ugly, and heavy. Ta-da!
I think it looks better with that.
One thing that I was actually very curious about, I think this is meant to go with the OEM hardware. So I was curious to see if it's gonna work. Look at that. I think that's gonna look pretty freaking dope. You like it? So the first piece of the puzzle, which goes right here, we'll start using the titanium hardware, might as well, since we're installing everything right now. Okay, we'll leave that kind of loose so we have a little bit of flexibility once we're adjusting everything. I think the next thing we'll do is we'll attach the ends for the strut tower braces. One side is threaded, one side is not. The threaded side always has to be pointed towards the back of the engine bay. So we want to make sure we have the orientation correctly, which should be like something like that. And then the other two right there and right there. All right, we get to use more titanium hardware just to keep these pieces in place. That's pretty. They actually give you titanium hardware for the exposed side. The part that hides underneath here, there's not enough. You actually have to use the OEM hardware, which gets tucked in anyways.
They had budget cuts, that's why they didn't include 4 bolts.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I guess the exposed section, that's all we get to see, so that's all they provide for. All right, so first thing we want to do is set the preload to, I guess, just get these as close as possible. Once you're installed, you can just rotate it to adjust the preload, which makes it really, really simple. We'll get it to its shortest form. Any adjustments that we have to do, we'll do it once it's installed. We'll be using the dark steel hardware, just so it has that stealth look. I don't really want it to be visible. Do that there. So make sure you line it up, and then you can get the hardware to go through. So obviously it was a little bit short on this side, so we have to adjust it just a bit so it can line up, and then we can install it. All right, moving on to the passenger side brace. Does it look like it just jumped into a pool?
Look at his juices on that intake.
Hey, AC companies, y'all want to sponsor me? What's up?
Home Depot, come in.
All right, driver side, let's go. Hopefully it's as easy as the other side. That looks good, doesn't it? I really like the finish of the pieces. And surprisingly enough, the carbon fiber on the strut brace matches very well with the S58 engine cover that we sell on our website. So this is very cool that everything just matches. And I know I asked you guys on Instagram, if you're not following me, definitely follow me there. I always ask you guys, is there such thing as too much carbon? I don't think so. So as far as the preload, and before you start, tightening all the hardware, you want to make sure that everything's good to go. We're just gonna go with a basic preload, hand tight right here, before we use the wrenches included to tighten up the nuts here. So this is nice and snug. We'll do the same to this side as well. You don't have to overdo it at all. And then we have these right here. Tighten up the strut tower brace nuts. So the reason they do include these wrenches, we use aluminum with aluminum, and it will keep them looking good. So then you'll use both of them to tighten things up. Hand tight, right there. Nice and strong, very sturdy, all tightened up, ready to roll. Gotta give it up to Keys because they really knocked that out of the park with this upgrade. It looks so good, and I'm glad that it matches the rest of the carbon fiber mods that I have in the engine bay. Like, again, the attention to detail, the matte black, smooth finish, the bolts, they offer them in black and silver, so you have options. I was able to center this piece here so we can get that downstar adjustable to fit nicely in the middle. And we also have those two that are kind of exposed. I mean, not as exposed as the OEM ones because there's indentations on those pieces from these carbon strut braces, but very nice. Even if you're looking at from eye level, you can definitely spot the difference. Installing the hardware is pretty easy. You only really need 3 tools. Well, 4 tools technically, but we already did the strut braces, so we don't need that 13 anymore. Got a hex 5 hex 6, and hex 8. So yeah, 5, 6, and 8. That's pretty much all you need to install these. I'm not starting in order because I really want to see what the most visible hardware is going to look like on the engine bay, which are the ones for the coolant shroud here and the 2 small ones that go right here. I do got a few burn marks on here from the hardware getting too hot on the carbon fiber. The cool thing about the hardware, the titanium stuff, it goes right over, so it covers it anyways. Ooh, me likey. Super easy to install. There's like literally no friction. You can tighten it almost 90% of the way just by using your hand. Believe it or not, I've been doing YouTube 5 years. I've owned over 10 different BMWs and I've never done a dress up bolt kit for anything on the car. Well, with the exception of the F30 wide body, I got a titanium set on like the fenders and stuff like that. But engine bay dress up stuff like doors and trunks and all that stuff, I've never done it before. So this is my first time. Obviously I want to be super careful because this is carbon, so we don't want to go too tight. I'm just going a little bit hand tight right there. Same with the upper ones. Oh my God. It kind of actually matches. Look at the light parts, the shiny parts. Kind of matches Zanford blue. Me likey. Installing just the bigger pieces made all the difference for me. The hardware ended up looking miles better than I expected. Kind of made me feel like a kid inside. Such a small upgrade, but the attention to detail and how it all comes together with the other upgrades, it's just a great feeling. I couldn't wait to install the rest. All right, moving on to the other 2 bigger. Yeah, it's storming outside. Moving on to the fender braces here. The reason I'm doing these first is because they're the most visible and I think that they make the biggest difference in the engine bay. Obviously the kit comes with the ones to replace these 2 right here and also these right here, this one as well. This gets replaced, the headlight ones get replaced, all of that stuff. But these bigger ones, I feel like when somebody looks underneath the engine bay, these are the first ones that they gravitate to, which is, I want to see what that looks like first, and then we'll do the smaller ones later on. Let's see this one. This engine bay looks pretty unreal now. It is so good looking. The strut braces, the carbon fiber pieces, the titanium hardware, everything looks freaking epic. I guess the only downside is that now you can really see these nasty looking plastic components like the intake manifold charge cooler and the intakes, which are 2 things that I'm looking to address to complete the look here. But other than that, man, this looks epic. So I just thought about something. This blank section right here, see on the OEM engine cover, it says Empower. I'm thinking of getting a paint matched Empower decal that matches the Zanford blue. And I think that's really gonna pop and bring out the hardware to really stand out. I think that's a good idea and something I'm definitely gonna do. Again, I'll have all these products linked down in the video's description if you guys are interested. And before you guys leave, I appreciate it if you guys hit the like button. It really does help out the channel. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because the M2 is gonna continue to receive tons of upgrades. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Till next time.